Hi, it's Dwyer. It is March 31st, 2025. GamblersAdvisory.com, a free site. BettingAngle.us, a free site. Remember, the opinion you should follow should be your own. Just consider this video to be a second opinion from a complete stranger online. Folks, I've said it before. Please take it seriously. I have never seen the heavyweight division this deep. Right, folks? You have a bunch of men out there who are much better than advertised. Not only that, the heavyweight division has secrets. Let's name two of them. They're in this fight. Richard Torrez, the silver medalist from the Olympics. Right? Just understand this guy is a southpaw version of Iron Mike Tyson. His front foot is relentless. This is a very decorated amateur fighter. When we talk about the best fighters out of the United States, in my eyes, Zhili Zhang is still the best current American heavyweight. Right? But let me say this diplomatically. Time waits for no man. Zhili Zhang is now in his 40s. Right? Deontay Wilder's coming back. He's also older. If you're looking at American heavyweights under 30, Richard Torrez deserves your attention. This is a major knockout puncher. This is a guy who is one of the best athletes, and it matters, in the heavyweight division. Right? I have no doubt right now, today, March 31st, 2025, that Torrez would give Alexander Usyk, fellow southpaw, all he could handle, because I personally believe that the way to beat Usyk is by being hyper-aggressive. Derek Chisora has a lot of tread on the tire. He gave Usyk problems early in that fight. Richard Torrez would be able to give Usyk problems from start to finish. Right? He would be the kind of opponent that Usyk would have to do something he hasn't been forced to do, which would be to get on his front foot and then to try to take out Torrez. Torrez is that aggressive. Now, here's the problem with Torrez. Number one, he's hardly fought anybody. Number two, like Mike Tyson, and Tyson was a great champion, Torrez does not have much of a back foot. In other words, you see a devastating plan A, right, that got him a bunch of gold medals in the amateurs and got him a silver at the Olympic Games. The gold medal winner was Jalilov. I'd love to see that fight now in the pros, right? But just understand, the problem with having the 100-mile-an-hour fastball is that you don't develop other skills. Right? It's the pitcher who has a 95-mile-an-hour fastball who thinks, you know what, I need a changeup. I need to work on my location. I need to figure out pitch sequence. So I'm surprising guys on 3-2 counts. That's not Torrez. That wasn't Tyson. Right? I would argue Tyson never learned a great back foot. Never. So when we talk about Tyson's greatness, and you start naming names like Ali, right? I know Tyson beat an older Larry Holmes. Roll back the clock. Had that fight taken place 5 years earlier, that version of Larry Holmes, would Tyson have had a shot? Maybe not. The same questions have to be raised with Richard Torrez. Torrez is at his best, and he's fighting a 6'6" guy here. 6'6". Torrez is at his best against big, clunky heavyweights. In other words, he has the hand speed. He has the foot speed. Again, this is an athlete. Right? He's a southpaw. You're a big, clunky, right-handed heavyweight. You're looking at him. You can't quite figure out the angles. Oh, the guy's up on you. He's faster-handed than you. He's throwing shorter punches than you. What are you going to do? Right? A lot of guys are going to wilt. Now, here's the problem in this fight. This is why you need to look closely at this fight. You know, I like to use the phrase big, clunky heavyweights. What happens if the guy is big, but he's not clunky? He's smooth. What happens if the guy actually is deceptive to the point where he's giving Efe Ajagba, one of the hardest punchers in the sport, right? Efe Ajagba is one of the hardest punchers at heavyweight, right? Understand, Guido Vianello, former Olympian himself, right? Guido Vianello went the distance with Efe Ajagba. That fight's a jump ball. The judges awarded the better-known fighter the decision, right? I'm not sure if Ajagba would beat Vianello in a rematch. Let's just say the guys were highly competitive. Guido Vianello gets dropped by one of my favorite fighters, Johnny Rice, right? Remember his name. Rice is an interesting dude, right? Rice is one of the better guys who isn't top level, right? Vianello gets off the canvas, goes the distance. He fights Makhmudov. This is the Makhmudov after he got destroyed by Caballero. Understand, Makhmudov is great at wrestling you between punches, right? This is the big muscular guy with a strong core who knows how to, maul you when he's not throwing shots. Believe it or not, Vianello beats Makhmudov, stops him in the 8th round. Right, folks? Who beat Mike Tyson? Buster Douglas. Now, he had to get off the canvas to do it, but understand, Douglas, smooth operator. Better boxer than we give him credit for. Right? Stuck a jab in Tyson's face, blew up Tyson's eye. The fateful moment came when Tyson tries to slip the jab, gets hit with an uppercut on the way in. Why? Because Tyson had to come in. Tyson couldn't go back. Right? Folks, right now, this fight is mispriced. I look at Vianello and I think, wow, if this guy gets by this fight, it'll be an interesting time in the heavyweight division. Because if the guy is going the distance with Efe Ajagba, that tells me he can go the distance with anybody in the heavyweight division. Right? The question here is, can he handle Torrez, who's at least 4 inches shorter than him and who's cat quick? Right? This fight to me comes down to that question. When Torrez comes out and Torrez tries to jump inside, is Vianello going to be able to, behind a very good jab, behind very good movement, is he going to be able to keep Torrez outside? Right? If he is, he's the more advanced fighter. Understand, Torrez, unbeaten, has had a lot of success. Again, doesn't have the back foot. Vianello is the more advanced fighter. But just like in baseball, you can be the pitcher who has different speeds. Right? Is that going to be as effective as throwing the ball 100 miles an hour down the middle of the plate? The bet I like here, and we're going to go by BetMGM's odds because different casinos have different odds posted. I'm going to put a link to the odds in the description of this video. The bet I like here, and folks, I cannot emphasize enough how important this fight is. Right, folks, understand the last 10 years, that era is ending. You have new names out there. Right, these are two of the newer names. Vianello is the older fighter. He's only 30 years old. There's a possibility that Vianello takes on some of these better-known heavyweights and outboxes them. Right, if Vianello gets by this fight, I would take him over Derek Chisora because at the end of the day, Torrez is more dangerous. And I'm mentioning Chisora because he's in line to take on heavyweight champion Daniel Dubois. Understand, Dubois has been outboxed before. Right? You saw that in the Joe Joyce fight. You saw that in the Usyk fight. Right? Dubois has been outboxed. Vianello could well outbox him. Right? With Torrez, it's feast or famine. Torrez is going to be aggressive. He's going to come inside. He's never going to take a step back. You know, either he's roughing you up or you catch him and slow him down. Right? Or, as happened during the Tyson era, you hug him for 12 rounds. Right? Bone Crusher Smith, countless others. Vianello's different. Vianello is the guy who might just stay outside and systematically outbox you. This is a name you need to know. Right? Against a Daniel Dubois, and I'm talking about a Dubois who just destroyed Anthony Joshua. Right? There's a possibility that Dubois would get hit with jabs, wouldn't be able to find a 6'6" opponent, is dealing with a guy who has enough defense to have never been stopped as a pro. Right? As I said, he got off the canvas against Johnny Rice, goes the distance. Goes the distance against Efe Ajaba, stops Makhmudov. Let me also make another point too. Guys that level are missing from Torrez's resume. Although Torrez has the decorated amateur pedigree, has fought guys like Jalolov in the amateurs, understand it's Vianello who has fought the better level of pro competition. Right? Vianello, his losses are photo finish losses. The bet I like here is the underdog. And understand, I think Torrez might be the best young fighter in the United States. Right? The bet I like is Vianello, plus 150. I like those odds. This fighter, whether he's known or not, looks dangerous to me. I like Vianello plus 150 hedged with the fight not going the distance. Right? If Torrez is Torrez. Right? If Torrez is as good as we think, and he's the minus 190 favorite for a reason. He has a high KO percentage for a reason. Heavy-handed guy, fast-handed guy, aggressive guy. Then he should get inside on a 6'6" guy who's really a smoothie. And he should get the stoppage. Let's also talk the politics of boxing. Torrez is viewed as the heavy-handed guy in this fight. People are overlooking the fact, by the way, that Vianello has a KO percentage over 60%. So you know the way it goes with guys who are viewed as knockout machines. If Torrez badly hurts Vianello with, let's say, 10 seconds or less left in the round, when you know a guy's heavy-handed, the referee might wave off the fight. They're not going to think, oh, there are only a few seconds left. This Vianello guy looks in bad shape, but give him a minute with his corner. Right? Give him an opportunity to sit down, right, between rounds. Maybe he comes out refreshed the next round and can clear his head. Right? You and I know that when you're facing a Mike Tyson type, sometimes the ref just thinks, oh, this guy's a heavy hitter. He's badly hurt the opponent. I'm going to wave this off, even though the end of the round is almost here. Right? There's the possibility this fight gets waved off early. There's also the possibility that Torrez gets inside, rips up Vianello's ribcage. Vianello can't keep him off, and we get a replay of Mike Tyson in his prime. That's a possibility. Let me name another possibility. It's the Buster Douglas possibility. Right? Torrez is coming inside. No one from Vianello's corner is surprised. This is what he has worked on and prepared for. This is why he's taken this fight. So he's ready. He's throwing jabs. He's busting up Torrez, who's having a problem coming inside. Torrez has no plan B. Then we find out, then we get reminded that both of these guys have KO ratios over 60%. Then you start seeing the difference between an amateur pedigree and a professional pedigree, where a guy's already been in the ring with Effie Ajaba. Right? A guy's already been in the ring with McMudoff. Right? Suddenly, Torrez is in trouble. Right? Suddenly, Torrez looks as frustrated as Mike Tyson did during the first Evander Holyfield fight. Right, folks? The hedge here is not Torrez by stoppage. The hedge here I'm suggesting is that the fight doesn't go the distance. Why? Because the same way Big Bad Bully McMudoff did not go the distance against Vianello, Torrez might not go the distance against Vianello. Right? As Billy D. Williams used to say, don't let the smooth taste fool you. The fact that Vianello's out there and he's throwing a jab and he looks like he's looking in a mirror at times, right? He's looking smooth. You can tell looking smooth is part of his persona. The guy has power. Right? He could well be the one who gets the stoppage. Let's remember, Mike Tyson does not make it the distance against Buster Douglas. Tyson's so rung up, he's on the canvas rather than just beat the count. He's looking for his mouthpiece. He's reaching for his mouthpiece. Let me say, too, that I personally like guys who faced adversity. Right? I hear that a Vianello fought a Johnny Rice, again, who I think's dangerous, and gets dropped and has the ability to get off the canvas and go the distance. That tells me that if he gets dropped by Torrez, as Buster Douglas got dropped by Tyson, he's going to keep his head. He's not going to panic. He's not going to say, oh, this is Richard Torrez. He's the minus 190. He's going to think, no, let me clear my head. I got 10 seconds. Let me get up. Let me look at the referee. Let me make sure he knows I want to continue. Let me get to my corner. Let me calm down. I still have time to land my shots. I still have time to win some rounds. So I like the underdog here. This is a swing at a plus 150, hedged with the fight not going the distance, but I need for everyone to understand the risk involved. This is a 10-round fight. It's not a 12-round fight. Torrez is highly touted. He's a top-ranked fighter. He's a Olympic gold medalist. Right now in the United States, in terms of the fighters under 30, this guy's top of the food chain. The guys who would be competing with him are Deontay Wilder and Zhilei Zhang, guys who are around 40. Right? This guy is highly thought of. If the fight goes the distance and the minus 190 favorite wins by decision, you lose it all. Don't bet the house money on this fight. Right? Proceed with caution. Just understand this is a live fight involving two guys with high upside, right? Who could give some of these other guys problems for a host of reasons. Let me say this. Ajit Kabayal right now is running through the heavyweight division, beating guys like Makhmudov, who lost to Vianello, right? And you can tell these big guys, Zhili Zhang, are completely astonished that an opponent is not only willing to get deep in the pocket, but is willing to throw punches to their body, right? The Makhmudov-Zhili Zhang fight's really fascinating because after the first round, the Zhili Zhang Kabayel fight is really interesting because after the first round, it's Kabayel who's on his front foot. Right? Kabayel's the one going through the heavyweight division. Now, Kabayel's going to get a shot at real competition, right? One of the heavyweight champs, probably within the next fight or two. The question lingering in the air is whether Kabayel would be able to handle Richard Torrez. Because Kabayel would try to come inside on Torrez. Torrez is only 6'2". Torrez can fight low. Right? He would come inside and he would actually have a guy who's faster handed than him, who wants the inside shootout, who's going to think to himself, oh, this guy's reaching for my body, that's an opportunity. Let me reach for his, let me throw uppercuts. Let me bring youth and more athleticism than his past opponents. So this is a very important fight because, believe it or not, neither of these guys, Torrez, who once lost a wrestling match to Terrence Crawford, right? That's how strong a core Crawford has. But Torrez and Vianello, right now themselves, would give a lot of the big names big-time problems, right? Take Dubois. There's a chance Vianello outboxes him from the outside. That's a distinct possibility. There's a chance that Richard Torrez beats him up from the inside. Right? Understand. Dubois is a guy who likes to see what he's hitting. Right? He's fighting Filip Ergovic, and where's Ergovic? In front of him, standing upright. Right? Where's AJ? In front of him, standing upright. These guys can't hide. Right? Where would Richard Torrez be? Torrez would be low, folks. Torrez would be low. He'd be inside. He'd be inside on Dubois. Dubois, great puncher, would have to go find the guy. Dubois would be the guy getting crowded. To sum up, I like the underdog here, plus 150, hedged with the fight not going the distance. I'm taking the risk that the well-supported top-rank American silver medalist heavyweight doesn't win this fight by decision. And understand, he's fighting an opponent here who has never been stopped inside the distance. Those are my thoughts. Let me hear yours in the comment section of this YouTube video. Thanks for stopping by.